Hey, everybody, welcome to Canary Cry Radio, episode number 189, Goldback to the Future with Jeremy Cordon. We're going to hop into our interview with Jeremy in just a second. But before we do, just wanted to let everybody know that we are approaching episode 900 of Canary Cry News Talk, and in 2026, we're going to hit episode 1000 of Canary Cry News Talk. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. CanaryCryNewsTalk.com. Look for it on any of your podcast players, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcast or whatever it may be. Look for Canary Cry News Talk. We're breaking down different world events from a grounded biblical perspective, which is increasingly becoming difficult and challenging as the debates within Christianity have become pretty much front and center when it comes to political conversations, which is causing some disruption within the conservative right wing, which is something that we predicted on Canary Cry News Talk probably about 3 years ago. So go check it out if you haven't. And real quick, I want to mention that we are a value for value podcast, which means we don't do advertisements, we don't do affiliate codes, we don't do any of it. We're totally supported by you, the listener. We call those of you who support us with your time, talent, or treasure as producers because you are helping to produce this podcast. If you're interested in supporting us in that way, go to canarycry.support and learn all the ways that you can become an actual producer of a podcast. And before we jump into the interview, a real quick shout out to the supply droppers who already support us every month for $33.33. There's something very special coming up in the next supply drop. Not only will there be the annual Canary Cry calendar that has been a tradition here on this podcast, but due to the generosity of our guest, everyone in the supply drop will be receiving half of a Goldback. Unless you are an international supply dropper, we apologize, but we cannot send the Goldbacks in the supply drop if you're international, but we will make it up to you one way or another in the future. But if you are in the US, go to canarycrysupply.com to learn more. Now, you might be wondering, what is a Goldback? Well, interesting that you'd ask. Because in a financial world defined by volatility and digital speculation, the idea of holding real value in your hand has become increasingly rare and almost taboo. Jeremy Cordon set out to change that. As the founder and president of Goldbacks Inc., he pioneered a way to make physical gold practical for everyday use. Each Goldback is a spendable note containing a measured layer of 24-karat gold, protected by advanced polymer technology and designed for daily commerce. In this conversation, Jeremy explains how Goldbacks work within U.S. law, why more businesses across the country now accept them than Bitcoin, and how new projects like Goldback ATMs can soon allow seamless exchange between gold and digital assets and dollars and all the stuff. He also shares his vision for rebuilding trust in money through transparency, local economies, and personal sovereignty. This interview offers a look inside one of the most quietly disruptive ideas in modern finance, a form of gold designed to be spent, not stored. And remember, gold is God's money. So without further ado, here's our interview with Jeremy Cordon.
With us today, we have the CEO, the man, the myth, the legend, and somebody who is impressing us on a daily basis. You will love to hear what Jeremy Cordon has to say. He's the CEO of Goldback.com. You've heard us talk about this before. And Jeremy, thanks for coming on the show, buddy. Really appreciate your time.
Hey, man, I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Now, our listeners, we have had a wonderful time over the years exploring the ideas of parallel economy, sound money, things like this. We have a friend of the show, Patrick Holland from Missouri Freedom Initiative, who has walked us through, educated us on, the way God intended things to be. And you have taken it even a step further and changing the world one gold back at a time. Can you give us an intro? If people have never heard of what a goldback is before? What is it? Give us your pitch.
Sure. I would say the Goldback is a reimagining of the gold standard with modern technology. So
Incredible.
every Goldback, it's a thousandth of an ounce of gold. So if it's a 5 Goldback, it's got 5 times the amount of gold, costs 5 times as much, and it works and feels a lot like cash. Except unlike cash, the Goldback doesn't lose value to inflation.
Incredible. I mean, it sounds like magic. Sounds like the way things are supposed to be. Now, I'm a little embarrassed, and I'm going to be very vulnerable here with you and the rest of the audience. Um, when I first heard about Goldbacks, our producer Isaac has, kept us up on what's been going on in Missouri, of course, and the Constitutional Money Act, I believe it's called. Yes, and when I heard about Goldbacks, I guess it made so much sense and it seemed so obvious that, like, I kind of thought that Goldbacks were something that had existed before, or that, used to be a type of money, or something like that. I didn't know that this was absolutely brand new technology.
So it's newish. I mean, it's been out since 2019.
That's pretty new, buddy. That's
It's
pretty
pretty
new.
new, and in the gold space, that's pretty new.
That's pretty. I'm sitting here. I mean, I guess maybe I'm getting it confused with, like, company script or like state currencies in early America, things like
Yeah,
that.
there's been over 2,000 local currencies in the United States. If you look at the total market cap and adoption, we are the most successful local currency in American history.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Can you tell me more about that,
Yeah,
please?
absolutely.
Thank you.
So if you were to add up the value of all of the goldbacks out there today, it's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of about $250 million.
Oh my gosh. And you're the only one who makes these, right? You basically
Yeah.
invented them. That's incredible. And now we've been following the story of specifically the Constitutional Money Act in Missouri, been learning about sound money. Of course, everybody who's ever found us is intimately familiar with the problems of the Federal Reserve and, the current debt system. Um, can you give me a little bit of insight into? I mean, obviously, this is sort of connected to kind of libertarian philosophies, something like this? Are you a Ron Paul guy? Tell me your heart about this.
Yeah. So when I was 21 years old, Ron Paul was doing his second run for presidency, and that's when I got sucked into the whole Ron Paul libertarian space.
Like you do.
And I was actually a delegate. I got elected to be one of his delegates in the state of Utah, and that was kind of I guess, my introduction into that whole world and into the idea of gold and silver as sound money. Yeah, before that, I didn't know much about gold or silver. So for me, the purpose of gold has always been to be money. And the fact that we haven't been doing that has been something that's been wrong.
It's God's money, baby. So you were a delegate for Ron Paul. Here's another thing. Patrick Holland really inspired a lot of us about the importance of, like, local politics and how we're sort of trapped in this illusion that federal politics and, the presidential election is like the most important possible thing you can do as an American citizen. But really, this, like, local involvement, I mean, that's where it's at. That's where the magic is at, especially in America. We kind of have this subsidiarity built into the system that we forget about a lot. And so I don't think it's a coincidence that the guy who invents, gold currency, uh, happened to be involved in local politics and was elected as a delegate for Ron Paul. This is very fun for me.
Yeah, I mean, even around that time, or a couple of years after, have you ever heard of Tuttle Twins
No.
or Connor Boyack? So he did a book series. It's a cartoon series now called the Tuttle Twins, And basically, it's like the magic school bus for libertarians. Um,
Yes.
it's free on angel.com. I show my kids, but I was his first intern back in like 2014, back when he was up and starting. So, um, I've been trying to figure out ways that I could meaningfully contribute to liberty.
Incredible. Have you always been this sort did you come up with sort of, I don't know, libertarian philosophies? How did you get here?
That not really. I don't think either of my parents were really that political. I grew up in Oregon. I went to church. Going to church, like a lot of very conservative um, role models, but then it's Oregon, so a lot of liberals too. So it's
I
yeah. My
that
my dad didn't like the government. He wouldn't take welfare, even though we probably would have qualified for it.
That totally tracks with me. I mean, of course, there's been lots of news about Portland and Oregon over the past few years here, but kind of like California, people don't appreciate just how specific of a brand of like anti-establishment or libertarianism or something like that is sort of embedded into the woodwork in Oregon.
Yeah, it definitely is. I grew up cutting wood for the wood burning stove that heated the house.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. And so your parents weren't necessarily very political, but what drew you towards this kind of philosophy?
It just really spoke to me. I mean, what Ron Paul said made sense. I really liked um, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. The whole story of the founding of the country really calls to me. You're kind of putting me on the spot.
Oh, don't
It's
need to
probably
do
watching
that.
like
Don't
Liberty
worry.
Kids on PBS if you go young enough, right?
Yeah,
Just
right.
the ideals of the founding fathers and putting together this country to do something that was better than what they were doing in Europe with kings and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. That's the American spirit. I think there to a degree every American child is sort of naturally drawn towards this kind of, ideating about how society should be. And it's only when we start, getting into high school and things like that that things go totally sideways. But it's just such a sort of natural way for the world to be organized, in my opinion. And look, Ron Paul's brand of libertarianism just made nothing but sense and was sort of, it kind of lacked a lot of the like scary bits of deep libertarian philosophy that are kind of used to critique it. But, that's the whole thing. Now, Goldbacks, getting into currency, getting into sound money, this kind of stuff. I mean, it seems really intimidating because you're talking, I mean, you're essentially creating a, I don't know, roundabout way to live out a statement against things like a debt-based, fiat system, Federal Reserve. I'm sure there's lots of government organizations involved every step of the way. How did you like even get into Goldbacks? How did this being your path to bring something into the world, there had to have been obstacles all over the place. What brought you to making the Goldbacks in the first place?
Y- Yeah, no, that's fair. So I started working in precious metals about 4 years before Goldbacks. I was the first full-time employee at a company called Alpine Gold, or a lot of people know it as the
Yeah,
United Precious Metals Association.
yeah, right.
And what I did is I took that from being an attorney's part-time side gig with one part-time worker, and I turned that into a bigger organization. I think now they've got like 30 or 40 employees. So I came in and I helped build that. Um, and it was kind of this lucky thing because I was on like the Ron Paul boards. I was on a website called the Daily Paul.
Mhm.
Um, and I would just read everything I could about precious metals. It was kind of like an obsession. I just became super interested in gold and silver. I found like Mike Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money episodes. Everything I could learn, I'd grab it. And I found this tiny business out in Utah that had a really kind of unique angle. They were only doing gold eagles, which are legal tender.
They're the
Um,
coins, right?
yep, the gold coins minted by the government, and they had this kind of unique business angle around them. And I wrote a blog about it. It was the most popular blog I'd ever done. And I thought to myself, if they ever attach a debit card to this or a credit card to this would be a lot more popular because at the time it was like a bill pay service.
Mm.
Um, and then they did that about a year later, and I was, you know, I just gotten married, I just graduated, and I thought, oh, I should write a blog about that little tiny company again. And I did,
What
and
year
it
was
got
this?
picked up in the alternative medias and Zero Hedge. It got like a 250,000 hits.
Oh my gosh.
My blog, my little blog that got reposted, and this little side business with 100 customers went from having 100 customers to 3,000 customers over a weekend.
Incredible. What year was this about?
This was in 2015.
Oh yeah, the golden age of blogging. That's perfect. I love it. Dang. I mean, that's really one of the sort of online kind of success stories that I mean, talk about libertarian philosophy and the internet and sort of decentralization of information and stuff like that. I mean, it's no surprise that it's the internet plays such a role in bringing this kind of stuff to people's attention, and then therefore on the other side bringing the sort of success to these ideas that can kind of perpetuate and grow, in this case to Goldbacks. So you went from blogging with this idea of uh, taking gold coinage or gold money in that case and making it more spendable. So this like spendability problem was always at front and center for you.
Right. Well, and the guy that founded the United Precious Metals Association, Larry Hilton, he was the attorney that drafted the language behind the Utah Legal Tender Act of 2011. In fact,
Mm.
that whole bill was his idea. And that was kind of the first bill in its generation that inspired the recent Missouri bill. So he's
Ah,
like kind of like the godfather of that whole effort. Um, so he started UPMA, and I kind of grabbed me because I wrote this blog and it sucked me in. I ended up moving a week after my firstborn son was born.
oh
My
my God.
wife, we picked up everything, we left our home, we traveled halfway across the state, just so we could work this job. I think Larry offered me $10 an hour for a full time job, taking over these 3,000 customers because I don't think he knew if they were going to stick or not. And it put me in the position at 25 years old of kind of being just about the primary guy running a business, and that was really worthwhile experience for me, building up a precious metals business kind of with the background knowledge of precious metals that I had. And it was a lot of fun for me because it was purposeful. I'd always wanted to use precious metals to kind of solve these big problems with money. And that felt like a step in the right direction. 3 years later, we started a company called Quintric, where I was the president, which was kind of exciting. And it was one of the very first gold based crypto companies in the United States.
Oh, wow. I mean, there's obviously a sort of connection between what you're doing with Goldbacks and cryptocurrency. Obviously, cryptocurrency is its own thing. I think, again, anybody who spends a lot of time thinking about it would prefer something like a Goldback. But again, it's that spendability problem sort of being solved, or the adoption or something like that. So even in the age of crypto, you are sort of combining the gold and the crypto, gold being such an ancient monetary technology, I guess. Finding these innovative ways to help people escape some sort of, prison.
Yeah,
Finding,
that was kind of the hope behind the cryptocurrency. My thinking with it was we have these gold eagles that are minted by the US government. That's actually legal tender. It's a better legal status for gold. What we're going to do is we're going to split them into 1,000 pieces, these coins, And to prove that I actually had the goal and it's not just a trust me, bro,
Mhm.
gold standard with this gold crypto, my plan was to live stream our gold holdings against the public blockchain for the gold cryptocurrency.
Yes, bro. That's
So
awesome.
I was really proud of that, and it was working kind of, but I'd go to these conferences all over the country, and you know what people, you know, the feedback I got from people on the gold cryptocurrency was?
What?
What do you think people told me?
I don't even know.
Would you buy a gold cryptocurrency?
Right now, maybe not back then. I mean, I just wouldn't trust it, I
So
guess,
7 years ago, you wouldn't trust it, even if they live streamed it. Why not?
because it's so easy to fake a live stream or
I got
something
a
like
few of
that.
those comments, but the number one comment that I got from people was something along the lines of, Jeremy, it's not that I don't trust you. You seem like a good kid and you're trying to do good things.
Mm.
I don't trust the government.
Uh, yeah.
So if you get $1 billion in your vault or whatever, and you know things are going well for you, I don't trust that the government isn't going to get upset and break down your wall with a tank and take all of the gold and arrest you and all the other principals. And there's this other project called the Liberty Dollar, and that's basically what they did. They
Mm,
seized the gold holdings, they shut down the little private thing that they made, and that's about what you can expect. So I don't want to buy your token because I don't trust the government.
right.
I
Right.
got some variation of that answer about 100 times, and I didn't have a really good response. Because
Hmm.
what am I supposed to say? Oh, the government would never do that. They would never do that. Like, why would you think the government would confiscate the gold? I mean,
Yeah. Trust me, bro. Don't worry. They love what
it'll
we're
be
doing here.
fine. It'll be fine. So I found Valorum, which is the manufacturing company for Goldback, and it took about 6 months between finding them and, you know, I had this dream one night that people were trading in this golden ticket like system,
Mm,
like a farmer's market. They were trading golden bills and they were getting change and bills that had less gold in them. And it kind of clicked for me in a really big way. Like, hey, the whole thing is just these golden notes that are manufactured here. And I could probably make a system that just does this with gold itself. So there's no vault somewhere else you have to trust. People can just
yeah.
have the gold in their hands, and that's better than anything that's ever existed. I mean, the old gold standard was trust me, bro, I've got gold in the vaults. You can use the receipts,
Yeah. Which, of
use the
course,
certificates. We have gold somewhere else.
yeah, with the recent, talk about auditing Fort Knox, and then we saw earlier this year the levels of gold sales and gold transactions from London to, to the United States to Italy. Things that gold was moving at unprecedented rates, and I think it was the Trump administration said, "Okay, we're going to go into Fort Knox. We're going to just go make sure it's maybe it was Doge or something. Maybe Elon said he was going to do it." And of course, that never happened. And, that whole thing is over, leading a lot of people to suspect that, we're
Wouldn't they
done.
want to show the gold if it was there?
But it seems like a pretty obvious thing. I love the gold back thing, the gold actually in the bill, because it's kind of its own physical version of this trustless economy. So, that's the cryptocurrency thing, is like, you don't have to trust anybody because, the technology, you just trust the technology. The technology takes care of it. This trustless society, you're not forced to like give this accept well you're not forced to accept some sort of promise based on you think he's a good guy or something like that. So it's got this very similar cryptocurrency trustless thing, because the bill's right there, the gold's in it, here you go, it's now in your hands.
Right, now it's yours and have fun.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, especially with what's been going on recently, most people will be kind of aware of the situation that we're in. I mean, this year, by some reports, the United States dollar has dropped 10% in value this year. There's lots of conflicting messages and events about what the economy is doing, where it's going, I mean, even in the cryptocurrency market, there's lots of conflicting ideas and signals. But if somebody was kind of brand new to the idea, if they didn't really they kind of know what fiat is and stuff like this. How would you, I guess, help them come to the conclusion that something like a Goldback is a pretty good idea? Like, what is our current economic situation that people should be considering if they're not?
Well, I think that anytime you come out with a new product, it's got to help somehow, right? There has to be a problem that that product is solving. There has to be some niche purpose for a good or a service. Would you say that's true?
I think that's true.
So what we're addressing is something really, really big. And I use this example sometimes. Have you ever seen the 1990s classic Home Alone?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, big family, they live in a McMansion. Um, they're going on some big trip with the extended family. Mom doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mom. That whole thing was normal.
Yeah.
There was nothing abnormal about that family or that financial
The
situation.
big house,
Yeah, dad can buy a big house. He can take care of all those kids, and he can take the extended family on a vacation together on one income.
right.
That was normal.
Hmm.
Like, there's nothing that extreme about that. It was relatable.
Right.
You watch a cartoon that came out. There's one that came out I think they came out in the 80s, The Simpsons.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you have a Homer Simpson, and he is not that bright. Um, didn't go to college. He got a job at the local plant.
Blue collar worker,
Blue collar
tradesman.
work. Yep. Blue collar work doesn't have to be that bright to do it, apparently. Um, but he owns his home. He's got a mortgage, one income, three kids, got a car, and he's in a whole neighborhood full of people just like him.
Living the dream.
He's living the dream. And, like, how hard is that to do now?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's basically that's what being rich is now.
That's
If
what being rich is. Yeah.
yeah,
If you are in your late 20s and early 30s and you live in a McMansion with a mortgage on one income
hmm,
and kids, you're in the top 10%.
right,
That used to be the top, I don't know, 80%.
right,
So, like, that's become a much harder to obtain dream. And I think part of the problem why that's true is because that six-figure job, that Kevin McAllister's dad had, that same six-figure job today can't buy a house.
right,
And it's like, oh, I just need a six-figure job. And you're measuring everything in dollars, what you need to make it. And those dollars are losing so much value that people don't understand that this American dream is slipping from them, even though they're getting paid more every year. Like, you're getting paid more every year, but your standard of living is just going to the toilet.
right.
And
And it
and the
seems to be,
goldback it's a form of money
yeah,
that is there we go. It's a form of money that doesn't lose to inflation. When
yeah,
they came out, they were $2 and now they're worth 8. And it's only been 6 years.
yeah. So the value of these things actually goes up as the value of the dollar goes down, just
Or
sort of
or at least
natural.
it maintains value. And
Right.
here's the paradigm shift, all right? Now imagine that we lived in a society where we decided to adopt the metric system and everything's measured in meters, okay? So we're going to remeasure everything in meters in America. But every year they took that universal meter and they nicked 5-10% off of it and
Mm,
said, this is the new meter. So every year you remeasure your house with the
mm,
new measuring stick
yeah.
and say, okay, well, my room has grown from 8 meters to 9 meters. And then you start saying crazy things like, my house is growing really fast.
Right.
We're growing a lot taller. I really hope my car is always going to be able to fit inside my garage because my car is growing so fast.
Hmm.
It used to be 5 meters and now it's 6.
And the crazy part is you hear experts and economists and politicians talk about inflation, and of course they'll use it against each other, but to a degree inflation is a feature, not a bug. Like they'll
Oh, it's on
plan.
purpose.
Yeah, they
Because if you
plan
have
for
debt,
inflation.
inflation's wonderful.
Right, right. That ding dang debt again.
Right. Well,
Um,
it's great for people that are deeply in debt, but for 90% of people, it's not great. If
yeah.
if you're making a minimum wage, if you're on fixed income, if you get a 3% raise every year, that's a cost of living adjustment and real inflation's 10%, and you got a cost of living adjustment for 3%, you got a pay decrease for 7%.
Hmm.
And you can't tell because the numbers are bigger. It tricks our lizard brain into thinking everything's okay. But then all of a sudden, I can't afford housing. Housing used to be 30% of my budget. Now it's 70%.
Right,
And now my
right.
wife has to work. And one of our incomes has to cover housing.
And people the awareness about gold and precious metals in general, at least, has been, around in a semi-major way, mostly because of the internet, for a while. And people, there's subscription services where you can pay like whatever, 30-50 bucks a month. And when you get enough payments in, they'll send you a little piece of bullion or something like that. And they'll make the bullion as small as you can, so at least you have like the idea that when the apocalypse comes, you'll be able to kind of trade it out in some sort of integered way or something. But the idea of actually being able to spend it, to hold it, that it's functional money. Now, tell me about the Goldbacks, because it's obviously not like a federal currency. It's not a promissory note or anything like that. What actually is it? Like, what makes it different from just buying a little piece of gold?
That's a great question. So like I said, the Goldback is a thousandth of an ounce of gold, and the technology that we use has never been counterfeited. So we got a
Mm,
dozen different anti-counterfeiting features on these Goldbacks, and we're adding new ones every single year. If you wanted to trade a little tiny gold bar, yeah, our market's getting flooded with fakes of
mhm,
little, and it's not just gold bars; it's silver. It's even junk silver.
mm.
Um, my Ron Paul days in 2012, I'd go to the farmers market and I'd barter with constitutional silver that was made in the 1950s, and not a huge success rate. Maybe 1 in 5 people would take it, but I wanted to use something that wasn't dollars, and junk silver was kind of the next best thing. Um, but nowadays, you go on Temu or Alibaba, and half the time you can find fake junk silver there,
Mm.
and they'll sell it into our market, and it looks just like regular junk silver, and now we have all this fake junk silver around, and it
Interesting.
sucks because if I wanted to do a trade with someone and I didn't know them and I didn't have a way to test the coins, which usually I don't, it's just not safe to take them anymore.
Right. What kind of security measures are on the Goldback that people can, sort of build trust in? I mean, it's one thing I love, it's got very intricate artwork on it, and I also love it's got beautiful women on every bill that I've seen. I think that's a very smart idea, and, is, reflective of the beauty of real money, God's money there. But other than the beautiful women.
On money before the Federal Reserve. And it's not just any woman. It's not like, oh, this is Harriet Tubman or this is, whoever. Um, we would put Lady Liberty on the money.
Mm, mm,
So the women that we put on the Goldbacks, all of them are virtues, like liberty and justice. And there's actually like dozens and dozens of virtues that are depicted as women in Roman and Greek history, and that's the tradition that we're tying into with the women on the Goldbacks.
Oh my gosh, I love that. See, I'm trying to make some sort of, comedic observation, but it's really this super deep, cosmically important depiction of, yeah, the female, or not female virtues, but virtues presented as beautiful women. I love it. It's great. You guys got your head in the right place.
Well, and we try to depict state history, and we've gotten better since we did Florida. So this year we did the state of Florida, we did the state of Oklahoma, and this week we have Arizona starting to open up, and you can see state history through time depicted with these lady virtues. So we try to incorporate her into the scene if she's a cowgirl or if she's a nun at a monastery or on the Florida series, she's like a female wasp pilot.
Mm,
Um, and we have to kind of be careful there because we want to tell the state history, but then, some people get upset because they don't want us to erase
the
like men
founding
from
fathers or
history. So we,
something. Right.
we have to kind of walk that a little bit. But
I think it's cool. I think it's the right choice. So, sorry, back to the security measures here.
sure, back to the security features. So there's about a dozen on the Goldback. Some of the obvious ones, the process through which these are made is vacuum deposition. It's a sputtering technology. So having the front and a perfect negative image on the back is extremely difficult to achieve. Our manufacturing company, it took them about a decade to get this figured out. We're talking millions of dollars worth of equipment to do something like this. But you can look at kind of central bank level security features on the front with non-repeating patterns and security strips, and then you can look at those same security features as negative images on the back. You can actually read the serial number on a Goldback through the Goldback itself. That has
That
never been faked.
that sputtering technology, that's how they do gold in like circuits, right? And microchips, things like that. So that's a
This is nanotechnology.
very high tech. Yeah.
It's not common in the bullion space. Typically you have like a giant penny roller, so it's like a foil, or we do bars and coins, and the technology for bars and coins has been out for a long time. It's very well known. If you're a criminal in Southeast Asia and you want to counterfeit, you can get minting equipment for 30 grand and you can start making tungsten filled bars,
Mm.
gold and silver bars for pretty cheap. It's not a very expensive barrier to counterfeit. If you wanted to counterfeit a gold, and every time you get a gold bar sold, that's a $4,000 payday,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
For something that maybe cost you $50.
Jeez. Yeah.
So there's the very high rate of risk to reward, which is why they do it. If they wanted to make a fake gold back, I mean, this is an $8 product. See if I can get the camera on it right. This is an $8 product right now. Yeah, you're going to spend millions of dollars just to get started to get it something that even remotely looks kind of close.
Yeah. You need
And then
like a
your payday is what,
Taiwanese,
$8?
yeah, Taiwanese microchip factory to try
Yeah, good
to.
luck. Good luck, dude. Oh, and by the way, every year we're raising the bar. Next year, we're going to have even better anti-counterfeiting features.
I love it. I love that, again, the idea of a bill, the idea of gold as money, very ancient, very foundational, but it's also being combined with this super high tech, innovative way of manufacturing that, it's not just going back to, it's more than just going back to the gold standard. It's sort of,
Reimagining it. We're trying to make it better.
I
Like
love that.
why should we have to go back to 1920s technology and do the gold standard? Because
Yeah.
guess what? Like I hate to break it to you, but the gold standard failed. And it failed because there was a central point of failure, which is trust the government, the gold's in Fort Knox.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
there until it wasn't.
Right. Now, on your
I
website,
got. Oh, okay.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask. Because I know about I'm sure you know too, the Constitutional Money Act, and they declare the gold and silver is, or that's what the new law, right? That allowed certain states to have gold as, like Missouri, for example, to be
Legal
legal
tender
tender.
recognition.
Right now, government wise, isn't there, and this is just like I don't know all the details, but I've heard in the grapevine that people just can't like issue money, issue currency. Does the Goldbacks work around that? Is it different from that? Is it
Do
I'm
you remember
assuming
how
it's
I said
compliant.
that my partner that I worked with in Alpine was the attorney that drafted the Legal Tender Act in Utah?
Yes. I think I heard you
So
say that.
I'm very aware of people that have kind of wandered into this space and it didn't go well for them. Before we ever did the Goldback, we wanted to build an absolutely bulletproof legal structure for the Goldback. Because if I'm going to play, I don't want to play to be a martyr. I want to play to win.
Yeah.
So every Goldback, what they are is they're negotiable instruments.
I was going to say, it says negotiable instrument on the
Yeah.
front there, which I
It
think is
says
interesting.
negotiable instrument. Do you know what else is a negotiable instrument?
No idea.
A coupon, a gift card. Can Walmart print their own currency?
Interesting. No,
Mm,
it's like
Can they make their own dollar? Because they kind of do.
hmm
right. And in like a in by credit or something, right? Like a
Well,
it's like a
kind of, and that's what the Goldback is. Um, so we have a deal with the United Precious Metals Association. I guess we have a really good relationship with them since I built it.
mhm.
Um, but they vault over $100 million worth of gold eagles that are minted by the government. And we struck a deal where anyone can take Goldbacks. They have 1,000 Goldbacks, and they can trade them for a U.S. minted gold eagle.
Oh,
And in essence, what that is it's a coupon. So every Goldback is a negotiable instrument. It's all a coupon. And you can see this kind of language on coupons, by the way. Oh, has a cash value of a penny or a tenth of a penny or whatever. You'll see that kind of language on gift cards and coupons. So Goldbacks have that same kind of language. It's actually not a federal law, it's a state level law. It's called the Uniform Commercial Code. So the entire legal infrastructure of Goldbacks rests on laws that are passed by states.
right. And there's something like 13 or 14 states up till now that have passed a law that would allow this. Is that correct? How many
Oh,
are?
it's a little better than that.
Oh boy.
Guess how many states have laws that allow for Goldbacks to be used as money?
I can't even guess. I gave a bad guess of 13 or 14. What
It
is
was a
it?
bad guess. You weren't close.
I wasn't even close.
It's 50.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah, because Walmart gift cards are legal in all 50 states.
I see. Okay, so it's not even doesn't even rely on something like the Constitutional Money Act. I guess the Constitutional Money Act is what makes it
It
so.
helps. It helps.
Uh-huh.
And I think that having multiple laws supporting it, because if I do this in California or Washington, and I say, well, you already passed a law saying I could. I mean, could we get some lawmakers that say, well, we don't like you, so we're going to modify our law, and now you're illegal, and get the heck out of here? Like they could. So obviously, we want to pick friendly states.
Right.
Um, but Goldbacks are being used in all 50 states now.
That's amazing. That's
How much
amazing.
is in circulation?
It's about $250 million.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned it at the top.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's incredible.
Well,
Um,
it's early. It's really early. I mean, we've only been out for about 6 years, um, but we're starting to see a lot of pickup. One of the early questions I would get about Goldbacks is that I'd explain it to people and I'd say, well, look, it's inflation proof money. And how cool is that? And, these ladies would look at me and they'd say, yeah, but what am I going to do with it? Like, like who would take it? Like
right.
who would ever use this? Like, like what, what am I, what's my use case? And I thought, man, I really need to get some businesses together that would take these as payment anytime, just to prove the concept. So we started in Utah because that was the first series. It was the Utah Goldback. And I went around and I signed up about 50 businesses that were local that would take gold as payment. And, when I started on that journey, I thought, at least 5% of business owners have to get it. Like if I can get 5% of business owners, and I'm thinking these are Ron Paul people like me, like if I can just get some true believers to, sign their name on this, um, I can have a proof of concept that people would accept and then people would start buying these. And what I found out absolutely shocked me, and it still shocks me a little bit. Guess how many business owners were willing to accept gold as payment for goods and services?
More than 50, I deduce from your comment earlier.
It was more than 50%,
Oh, wow.
which just blew me away. It still does. You go to a farmer's market with Goldbacks, you're looking at like between 50 and 75% acceptance, depending on where you live in the country for taking gold as payment.
Yeah, I mean, I could see, especially specifically with small business, you'd actually almost prefer Goldbacks in a way. You get into corporations and stuff, that might be a little different because they don't
Right.
really
Yeah. And when I
care.
say 50%, that was my experience, and that's going to businesses that I figured were locally owned small businesses. And that's if you talk to the business owner. If you're
Yeah,
not talking to the business owner, if you're talking to the secretary,
the
it's some
cashier.
franchise, the acceptance rate is a lot closer to zero.
Got it.
You're
Yeah.
not. Although I did have them take Goldbacks at Wendy's one time.
Oh, that's great. I mean, what you're really talking about, in a way, whether this was kind of the point or not, is this parallel economy idea that's been growing so rapidly in recent years. Whether it's for political reasons or whether it's for this or that, there's this idea that, like, hey, things are pretty wild. There's certain people you want to do business with, there's certain people you don't, there's certain people you have to do business with, but a lot of those, it turns out, you don't necessarily have to. And those, whether it's ideological grounds or religious grounds or whatever, political grounds, whatever it is, this idea of parallel economy, I mean, is really catching on. And in a lot of ways, again, in maybe a slow and steady way, is one way for people, again, to be sort of locally minded, to get out of the trap, the sort of illusion of, the either globalized economy or even nationalized economy, where the most good could be done right in your network. I mean, is parallel economy kind of part of, I mean, intrinsically, what you're talking about is parallel economy, but is that something you're interested in or passionate about?
I mentioned to you that there were 2,000 local currencies before the Goldback in the United States. And I think the idea of parallel economy isn't new, but it's been around for a long time.
Hmm.
Because hundreds, thousands of communities have done it. They've tried it. A lot of local currencies, they'll work for a decade or so. Most of them are pegged to the dollar. But the purpose of having a local currency pegged to the dollar was to keep money local.
Hmm.
Now, this isn't about spending your money at Walmart or Costco or Amazon. You want to support the local bookstore. You want to support the local barber. You want to support, the local farmer, and you want it to keep money circulating in your community over and over again to keep value in your community. And the Goldback does exactly that because all these Goldbacks that are trading are they're trading hand to hand in people's communities. And I think it's almost the most appropriate way to see the Goldback is a series of local currencies where I'd say a big chunk of the businesses that we have signed up that are featured Goldback accepting businesses are in states that have their own Goldback series. Although we are seeing more and more businesses outside of those states signing up, and we're starting to look at kind of hotspots where we see Goldbacks, a lot of Goldback activity as a potential future location for a new Goldback series.
What are some of these hotspots? Is there any like specific locations? I'm just curious in case we have any listeners in those areas. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, we're looking all the time. You can actually see for yourself if you go to goldback.com, there's a menu and you can click pay with Goldbacks and you can see thousands of businesses across the United States today, and even a few businesses outside the United States that'll take Goldbacks as payment and want it to be featured as, hey, we'll take gold as payment, whenever we're open.
Yeah,
Um,
look at
it's kind
that.
of a proof of concept. And here's kind of a fun milestone. So you guys are familiar with crypto. Guess how many businesses in the United States take Bitcoin as payment?
Ugh,
Ugh.
I don't even
It's
know.
changing constantly,
I
but
know there's some big
probably a
ones.
good amount. at this
So if
point?
you ask Google, it's 2,300.
Okay,
Mm,
that was actually going to be pretty close to my guess. So
That's
that's great.
it's not a bad guess, and you got to figure it's a small business. The business owner's got to be there. They got to have their cell phone. They got to, do the transaction with you. So it's not, everywhere that would do Bitcoin. It's 2,300. Um, yeah, that's a lot. We have 3,000 businesses taking Goldbacks. We
wow.
Yeah,
passed Bitcoin for local business acceptance in the United States.
that is pretty
Wow.
crazy. That is
I
pretty
was
crazy.
I was going to ask you, did you, because you mentioned you had done the live stream to verify the Goldbacks on the blockchain and did all that. Is that still in operation? Is there a
That crypto company, we had an initial surge of sales and we ended up shuttering it, but people's balances were transferred to Alpine Gold, so nobody lost any money on it, but we
mm,
just didn't have the funding to achieve that. And quite honestly, I don't think I ever want to work running a software company again where I'm hiring coders and trying to code things all the time and creating like a software service.
Hmm.
It just really isn't my expertise. Um, so,
right?
sticking to an analog product like the Goldback is more my speed.
I love that. I'm also wondering though, because we are living in, the Venmo, Cash App, Stripe. Everyone's got a phone. They're transacting, trading, doing commerce with a digital format. Some people are adopting crypto. For those people who are into the convenience, do they have an option here, or is it all just physical paper? Or
There's
not
people
paper,
that
but
want to make a Goldback cryptocurrency. They want to make a Goldback digital option. Um, I mean, you could vault Goldbacks today with Alpine Gold. So that is one of the vaulting options, and they actually vault them for free. So you could buy Goldbacks at Alpine Gold, which services the UPMA. Um, they'll vault them for free. They'll let you transfer them from one account to another. Um, and they'll let you cash out your Goldbacks with a zero spread for up to $10,000 in a 30-day period.
Yeah, and
wow,
for
pretty
those
good.
who don't know what vaulting is, that means you send them your gold or your gold backs, and then you're able. Then you get a card, right? You
Well,
get a
they'll
card.
they'll store them there, or you just buy them and they stay there. So that's one of 400 companies that sell Goldbacks. I mean, we also sell them through ATMEX and JM Bullion and Money Metal. So all the major bullion dealers just about sell Goldbacks
And
because we're a wholesale company.
I'm looking through some of these companies that are taking gold backs. I mean, it's everything from dentists to cabinet to window washing to construction
Construction.
companies,
There's people that'll build you a house from start to end for Goldbacks.
coffee roasters. Look at this. It's just everything. So in theory, if
RV repair. There you
you
go.
could do a little bit of travel, you could basically get every service done with.
Well, here, go to Utah. Like, why don't you?
Here I go. I'm going
Yeah, you're in Missouri
scrolling
right
over to
now.
Utah,
All right.
Utah,
So
where's
look at that
Utah?
top right corner in Utah. There's a town called Vernal. See it?
Yeah, there we go.
This
Oh,
one's my favorite lately.
look at
So just
this.
keep zooming in there.
Woo, that's a pretty concentrated. That's a Goldback town right there.
Hey, there are like 10,000 people that live in the Vernal area, and they've got what, like
Wow.
50, 60 Goldback businesses.
Here's a vape shop. Vape Vernal, antique lace, Dan's tires. I'm just advertising all these great Vernal companies. You
There's
can
a farm there.
Sunset Logistics, some trucking, Barber
Barber's Corner,
Corner,
construction.
construction. Yeah, these construction guys, big automotive. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. I mean, Soul Haven Healing Center. There you go. Go get your vibes shifted for some Goldbacks.
Got some
Sourdough.
pizza.
There it is. Just like Bitcoin's first transaction or first purchase, you can do your Goldback pizza purchase. It'll take you a lot less than 10,000 of them too, I'm sure.
Now, I'll tell you something. If you got listeners here and maybe you're not in a Goldback state yet, but if you're interested in getting the Goldback in your state, we really do pay attention to where people sign up. We have a new Silverback coming out, which is kind of a product we do for fun. We're getting some of them graded. If you go to goldback.com and you sign up your business to get advertised by us, not only does it cost you nothing, we'll send you a free graded Silverback. Let's see, yeah, become a merchant. There you go. And you can support Canary Cry Radio by putting them in the referral link, and
Hey,
we'll give them the
baby.
same gift for every business that signs up.
Get your boys some silverbacks, y'all. Go get on this. Come on now. Look, you can even see on the website here, one goldback equals $7.94 right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we think the gift is going to retail somewhere between like 50 and $75. So
Hey,
it's not nothing.
that is not nothing at all. That's
And
great.
if we get enough businesses in your state, we'll that'll bump up how soon your state happens, or at
Beautiful.
least heavily influence it.
And for those who are wondering, oh, how much is what? How much is that? You've got a calculator here on the website too. You can,
Yeah,
uh,
so enter an amount there. So let's say somebody owes you $1,000, type in 1,000,
there you go.
and then that's how many goldbacks you owe them. It's 126.
126 goldbacks. Fork it over.
So you put the payment amount in. So let's say you paid them 130 goldbacks
Mm, Oh, I see
because you
this.
didn't have the right change.
Goldbacks. I see. Oh,
Okay, so that's
you
$32 and
change.
change.
I mean, this is like you could use this at the point of sale in your company.
Oh, and people do.
Yeah.
So we have this calculator on our website for years, and this is just some fun data because you don't really know how many people are using Goldbacks, and like no one wants to tell you, and I don't like once they're gone and out there, they're out there. It's not like
Mhm.
Bitcoin where someone
They're
can
not
just look at
tracked.
the blockchain and see what's going on,
Right.
because it's private. The Goldback is an extremely private form of money. It doesn't carry transaction fees. It doesn't have inflation. So it becomes popular in towns like Vernal where it's a cash economy and people are trying to keep the money local, right? Because if they use Visa in Vernal, like every time they swipe, a little piece of their money is leaving the town forever,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Um, and it just forces everybody in the town to do more work for outsiders just to break even, right?
Yeah. Right.
Um, so getting back to this calculator, we had a couple of years ago 60,000 hits on the calculator. And then the following year, 2024, we had 120,000 hits.
Oh wow.
And then this year, the year's not over yet. It's already doubled from last year. So we're seeing this doubling every single year of adoption for Goldbacks in terms of people actually using and spending them and using them as money.
Yeah, the presumption there, at least for the most part, is that each one of those hits is a transaction happening at a business or between people for a goldback transaction.
Well, and I think it's the tip of the iceberg because I'll tell you, I use Goldbacks all the time, but very rarely do I use the calculator because hey, it's about $8 a Goldback. I'll do it in my head and just kind of round it. Um, if it's a big enough transaction, I'll pull out the calculator. If they're new and they're trying to build a comfort level with it, I'll pull out the calculator. But I'd say I use the calculator the minority of the time. In fact, I use the featured business list a minority of the time. Most people that I do business with Goldbacks, they're just random people. They're just
Mm,
random local business. Hey, would you take payment in gold? Sure. And I pull
yeah,
out the Goldbacks and then I got to restock. Um,
that's great. And if pricing is denominated in goldbacks in the first place, you don't need the calculator. Yeah, that
well,
makes total sense.
very, very few people are going to price things in Goldbacks.
Hmm.
Um, and some people, they came back at me and they said, well, I like using my credit card because I get 1% cash back. So do you know how local currencies work or what the economic model is for local currencies?
Tell me.
So there's one I really like. It was launched in the state of Massachusetts. It's called the Berkshire Share. And you could buy them at the Chamber of Commerce for 90 cents, but you could spend them at one of 400 businesses in the town for a dollar.
Hmm.
So you
Oh, so
instantly
you're
got
making,
10% off for
yeah,
shopping local, which is a great reward to you. And the business taking them could spend them at any one of the other 400 businesses in the town at the same dollar. So they gave the initial person a discount, but they didn't lose money because it carried that same dollar value if they spent it again. Does
yeah,
that make
right.
sense?
Yeah,
So
totally.
the Goldback has a very similar model. So the price there is $7.94, but you can buy Goldbacks today, I want to say for like 760.
Woo.
So you can get a 4% discount, which is 2 to 4 times better than your credit card shopping local using
Yeah.
Goldbacks.
Yeah, and I mean the trick with that, you're getting your 1% back on your credit card. They're already taking 3 or sometimes 3.5%.
Oh yeah, they're taking it out of the community. So they're
You're
they're hitting up the business for 4%. You get to
yeah,
keep 3% leaves the community. But for Goldbacks, you get the full 4%, but the business doesn't lose it because they can just spend that gold back at another business and they get all the value again.
that's great. I mean, this is the kind of thing that looks amazing and it's catching on, and it's really aligned with what a lot of people are coming to realize and know about, economics and the system and parallel economies and stuff like that. And there is a part of every kind of, I think, person who is of the same mind who starts wondering, uh-oh, what's going to happen to this guy, or what's going to happen to this
What's going to
company?
happen to me?
Yeah, what kind of pushback, or are you worried about anything? Has anybody signaled that they want to, come up against what you're doing? Is it catching on too fast? What do you think?
I think what's really, because I told you I built this thing legally, and I made sure that all my T's are crossed and all my I's are dotted, and I didn't want to do anything wrong or commit a crime in doing the gold back.
Hmm.
But then you could say, well, if the government really didn't like it, though, that's not going to stop them. They could change the law or they could get you for something else.
Right.
There's this beautiful thing called selective prosecution.
Oh yeah.
It's like there's some really benign thing that you did, and because they're right up your butt, they're going to get you for collecting rainwater or something, and they're going to
Hmm.
hit you with like the biggest penalty anyone anywhere has ever gotten for collecting rainwater. Because really, it's not about that. They just want they want you to stop. They want you to be
Right.
gone.
Yeah.
Um, well, there's one thing that helps me sleep a little safer at night is for central banks, the cat's kind of already out of the bag.
Mm.
Like Bitcoin has a multi-trillion-dollar market cap. People are already doing other things other than the dollar. And if you look at where all the regulatory attention is, it's
Mm.
on crypto companies.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
on Bitcoin ATMs, it's on the exchanges, because in terms of like threat level, the market cap on Bitcoin is something like 3 to 6,000 times bigger than
Right.
Goldback.
Got it.
Like we're just too small.
Yeah. It's
It's
kind
like
of a cottage
if you got
industry.
like a wild, you know, wolf in your house running around, like you're not too worried about,
The mouse and the
the bug
walls.
on the wall. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right. Right.
Had we done Goldback 20 years ago before cryptocurrency, and we were the only game in town for alternatives, I'd be looking at the entire apparatus of the state and central bankings by myself. That's a little bit more intimidating.
Yeah.
Um, and it might have gone a little bit different. But also, they've never really cracked down on local currencies. They haven't cracked down on gold.
Mm.
So gold is
Mhm.
a multi-billion-dollar industry too, and the way they crack down on it is like kind of Operation Choke Point stuff, and we've had to deal with that.
Mm.
We have had regulators pushing back at us, and we've pushed back on them, and we've been able to hold our own. Um, it's growing quick, but it's not growing so quick I'm overly worried. But at the same time, I don't want to be so fearful that I don't do anything to better my position or the position of my neighbors and my community and my country. I
Yeah.
can't be so scared of the government that I don't lift a finger to do anything proactive to improve my situation, because that's just learned helplessness.
Yeah. Amen, brother. One thing I love about this is we're in this phase here where decentralization is just this sort of natural development that we're seeing, whether it's the internet or whether it's cryptocurrency or, pushing for more localized governance structures, things like this. People are very passionate about this sort of thing. And when it comes to goldbacks, somebody might think, oh, well, it's never going to be the main economic engine in the country, or it's never going to catch on to supplant Bitcoin or something. But we're moving into this phase where goldbacks really are an excellent piece of the puzzle. We're moving into a new financial era of the world, anyways. Whether it's decentralized cryptocurrency like Bitcoin alongside something like CBDCs or stable coins or whatever. You might think, oh, Goldbacks, they don't stand a chance against these systems. But really, you look at the future, especially the financial and economic future, the future is sort of decentralized. And in this way, where Goldbacks can coexist in a world of cryptocurrency and stable coins and things like that as an alternative, specifically a local alternative. Again, the most important place and time you spend money is in your direct vicinity. It's not necessarily whatever you buy on Amazon or what whatever, pay your taxes with. Although now with, I believe, things like the Constitutional Money Act, you probably could actually pay your state taxes in Missouri with Goldbacks if you wanted to. But it's this great brick in the wall of whatever this unknown new economic system we're moving into. And I could easily see it, becoming a part of people's everyday financial lives right alongside all the digital versions that they're sort of forced to work with. But at the same time, securing the financial stability of their local area, which again is going to be the one that's most important to them. I think it fits right in with this weird new futuristic era of economy that we seem to be barreling towards and nobody has any control over. But the Goldback gives you sort of this little bit of control, this little bit of safety, this little bit of autonomy, and this little bit of sort of localized power to keep, whatever the bigger system sucking as much value out of your community as possible. I feel like it's just as important as getting involved in sort of local politics or whatever. I think it's amazing.
Well, you vote with your dollars, right? You vote with your labor. If you're willing to do work for gold, when you do work for dollars, you are propping up the dollar. The dollar
Yeah,
has value because you work for it.
yeah, yeah. We got to
And as
start.
much as we hate central bank digital currencies, and I've never met a conservative or even a libertarian, or I haven't really ever met a supporter of central bank digital currencies. There's a lot of
Right.
worry around it.
Hmm.
And they say things like, yeah, but if the central bank digital currencies and they can cut you off and they can just devalue it like crazy. It's like, all right. What you actually do though is you boycott a central bank digital currency by buying other central bank products like cash.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's the same
cash.
issuer, it's just a different product.
Totally.
So you're not
Totally.
like choking them out by not doing the central bank digital currency. They're just waiting until it's convenient to do. So like if you don't want to support the central bank, you got to do your own thing, and that's what the Goldback is all about.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love it.
I've even stated that a lot of the stablecoin stuff that they're doing now is a de facto CBDC because while it's not the central bank issuing the stablecoins, you have these private companies issuing them. And of course, the US government operates on public private partnerships all the time for the last 2, 3 decades. It's kind of how the military industrial complex it partners with Boeing and Lockheed Martin and builds weapons and stuff like that. It's a similar thing where the government's partnering with these private organizations or institutions. They create the stable coin. But if the government comes in and says, yeah, that guy right there, we don't like his social media, find his wallet and block it or whatever, and they can do something similar to what the fears of CBDCs are. But a couple of
Yeah,
things I'm
through
curious
through a
about.
third party, they don't have to do it direct, and that's kind of how
Right,
censorship worked on Twitter and Facebook. You weren't in the government Facebook, but the government influenced it, and they could, you know, if you were skeptical of the narrative, if they didn't like your opinion, they'd push the
right.
platform to ban you, and they would do it.
Yep, yep. And they can block bank accounts. We saw that with the whole trucker protest in Canada, and all those things have been very interesting. Like economically, all the shifts happening. I couple questions that I have. One is, how do you guys, as people creating the gold back, how do you guys generate income or like profit off of
Well,
this.
I mean, we sell Goldbacks, and people think that we double our money on them, and we really don't. I mean, it's expensive to make a Goldback. The process is expensive. The half and the one Goldbacks, I think to this day are manufactured at a loss. We have the cheapest 1/1000th of an ounce gold product in the world, to my knowledge. So we're really proud of that, and it's subsidized kind of by these higher denominations of Goldbacks. So
Mm.
if the 10 contains a hundredth of an ounce, that has the same premium as the one. And if you can trade 100 gold back for 100 ones, the 100 has 10 times or 100 times the amount of gold. So it's a tenth of an ounce, has the same premium, but it has to because, they're all part of like a fungible system.
How many
Right.
denominations of Goldbacks do you make?
Oh, there's a bunch. And we just added a few. So we've got the half gold back, the one, the two. There's a limited early release 3 that we do. There's a 5, a 10, a 25, a 50, and a 100.
Okay, yeah. So you got
All
all
right.
sorts of denominations.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's a bunch. So there's like 8 main ones that are used. We might add a ninth. We're looking at maybe adding quarter gold backs. That would be like a $2 gold product again.
Did you have
Very
another
cool.
question, Guns?
Yeah. So, what would be, and maybe you already answered this in part, but what is the biggest barrier to adoption? Is it just education? Is it convenience? Like, what are you seeing as like a barrier for mass adoption with supply?
I think it's just challenging to get them out and to educate people. We've got one company that I'm excited about. They have Goldback ATMs, and they're just pushing out the second generation of them right now,
Oh,
where you can
sweet.
buy Bitcoin at an ATM and it dispenses Goldbacks. And you can,
Ah,
and third generation, you'll be able to buy Goldbacks with Bitcoin at an ATM locally, just about anywhere in the country.
There you go.
there you
There
go.
you
That's
go.
what
Well,
I'm talking
And you
about.
can put
along
the Goldbacks back into the machine and it'll spit out dollars.
That's so cool. Gone. So along those lines, it did occur to me, I'm looking at the different sizes of Goldbacks, and because they have to facilitate actual different amounts of gold, they're all different sizes.
Different sizes,
And
yeah.
I looked over here, I'm thinking like, oh, is he going to need a special wallet? Well, you got a
They
special
got
wallet
the
right
wallet.
here on the website, Goldback wallets. You got a little different size little pocket for each little thing. That's great. Do you
That's
know of any, or is there any plans, or are there insurmountable obstacles for an employer to be paying employees in Goldbacks?
No, there's players that do it. I mean, just make sure you still pay payroll taxes.
Right.
The Goldback isn't supposed to be a tax dodge. Um, so I hope
Yeah,
people don't treat it that way.
that would be another question is, how do you treat Goldbacks as far as, taxes or income
Just like
taxes?
gift cards,
Yeah.
people ring up a transaction, they're setting aside sales tax and things. It's all built in. Um, or you could just treat it the same way you treat cash
Hmm.
as far as taxes go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny because I used to always couple things. We come from a community of people looking at Bible prophecy and time, stuff like that. And one of the fears that's been talked about quite a bit over the last couple decades is, oh, they're trying to create a cashless society. And I was into that narrative too at first. I was like, oh yeah, they're going to try to make everything cashless. Then I realized cash is a piece of paper. Like
It's
a
a piece of
$100.
paper. It's a receipt to gold that's no longer there, and it's issued by the
Right.
same people you're worried about.
Right, right. Yeah, and just the way I explain it to people that are not into, looking into this and studying it stuff was that, you have $100 bill and just because it says 100, we value it as $100. The same piece of paper has 1 on it and that's, only a value of 1.
It works
So,
because we all work for it, right?
Just because I don't know if we finished it, but regarding the security measures here on your website, we can see there's also what looks to be blacklight serialized numbers on the back or something, some sort of, oh, those
Yeah,
aren't,
that shows like the logos and denominations on the back.
got it.
We're
So,
talking about moving those features to the front next year. Um,
okay.
but yeah, there are UV hidden features on the Goldbacks.
Yeah, so all the kind of similar USD security features and more, it seems like.
Oh, absolutely. No, I would hang my hat on saying that the Goldback is the most secure bill in
Yeah,
production, including central bank products in the entire world.
that's
Um,
very impressive.
Wow.
and you know, I don't think I'm wrong.
I mean, you seem like a confident guy. You inspire confidence in me. Now, one thing, and this is very exciting as we look at our time, want to make sure to be respectful of your time. Thank you for moving around your day to spend time with us today. One very exciting thing, and I'm happy to be able to announce it for the first time on the show here, is that in the coming fourth quarter, Canary Cry supply drop. This is for our producers who sign up to support us monthly, keep the show going. We're actually going to be sending out their very own, probably first Goldback. And so if you're a Canary Cry supply dropper, there's still time to go join the Canary Cry supply drop. The fourth quarter is very important because, of course, you get the Canary Cry calendar, and you'll probably get your very first gold back, which is very exciting. Jeremy, thank you guys very much for hooking it up and making it happen. This is something that we've been, enthusiastic about as a sort of a family here, and I'm very excited to get. There's going to be some very happy Christmas mornings, I think, once this goes out.
Yeah, I mean, Goldbacks, they make phenomenal gifts, especially for kids. Like they get it almost just instantly. For $4, you can turn anybody you know into someone that owns gold.
Oh my
They're
gosh!
very visually impressive. You know, a half Goldback, it's 1/2000th of an ounce. It's $4. It's got 9 times the surface area of a 1 ounce gold coin.
Oh my gosh!
So you talk about like the shiny and the allure and all the magical properties that make us really attracted to gold. We're 9xing that on a $4 product. And you wonder why it's got such a high adoption rate. You know, regular people that aren't libertarians, they're not Ron Paul delegates, they're not, these, students of monetary history, they see goldbacks and they just want them.
They just
And
know.
and that's really what you want out of your money.
Yeah, they just know. Yeah, I can't wait for mine to get to me because yeah, I could see how the tactile and the physical experience and yeah, like you say, the surface area, that much surface area of just actual shining gold in your face with, the elaborate illustrations that are on there. It has this sort of almost like supernatural allure that gold, has represented in the history of humanity for a long time. And why gold gets wielded as sort of a not just a financial weapon, but often like a psychological weapon. But at the other side of that coin, if you will, or bill, is that psychologically or maybe even spiritually, there's something very powerful about holding actual gold in your hands, especially a bill like this that's big and shiny, tactile, elaborate, even harkening back to like the elaborate presentations of gold throughout history. It's just kind of a no-brainer. Like it makes total sense to me that you don't have to be a Ron Paul or libertarian, et cetera, to not just appreciate the bill, but just to know instinctually, like, oh, this is something that I want. Maybe even this is something that I need.
It's a huge unifier. I mean, I've people from all walks of life, people you wouldn't expect. It's kind of fun because it's not a politicized thing.
Yeah.
Um, Although a lot of
Yes.
gold companies do tend to kind of pander to the right a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Goldbacks do really well across the entire political spectrum. We did a market analysis on our audience, and we have a lot of people are in the middle, and there's almost as many people on the left as there are on the right that are buying Goldbacks.
I was going to say, it seems like a really good thing to get your lefty family or to get your lefty friends or something that like both that like you said is very unifying. Like it represents, it may represent our libertarian, ideals or even our sort of anti-establishment aesthetic or something like, but then to give it to someone who maybe is, not on board with all the same ideology or whatever. it seems like a great unifier of fans
They still get
in the
impacted
world.
negatively by inflation, but they
Right.
might care about different things. Like they'll say
Hmm.
things to me like, "I really love how many Native Americans get representation on the Goldbacks," or "I really love
That's
that,
good. Yeah.
like all of our money's men, but like these are all women, and that kind of balances it. And that makes me feel really good." And different people care about different things.
That's
Right.
genius. That's
Yeah.
genius. I'm definitely going to get myself a stack of these and
Well, I was gonna
build some
on
bridges this holiday.
on that sort of I don't know, piggybacking on that, Basil. Has there been someone who's like, and you don't have to tell us names or anything, but anyone who's been like, "Hey, I got $1 million. Uh, load up my truck with Goldbacks."
We
Has there
have
been
had
someone?
we've had seven-figure sales for Goldbacks.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow.
I
So
was
Yeah,
gonna
someone's
we've
out
seen
there.
seven-figure sales. We see six-figure sales every month. Because
Whoa.
here's the thing: if this
Wow.
is a type of gold that is functional and liquid and spendable under all circumstances, do you have any idea how many people buy entire ounces, like 1 ounce bars and coins with the same gold?
Unspendable gold.
It's
Yeah.
unspendable gold, and it's unverifiable for the average person. So you
Yeah.
have billions of dollars in demand getting these gold bars that it's like, okay, it might be fake, and who's going to take it from you? You're going to be standing in line behind 30 other grandpas at the coin store trying to turn this into cash because there's no other way to make it liquid.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you stacking these is actually not only a okay idea or a good idea, it seems to be a great idea, as is, evidenced by people dropping fat stacks on.
Well, hear me out on this because
Okay.
I didn't start out thinking that stacking Goldbacks was a good idea.
Yeah.
Um, but since we've launched Goldbacks in 2019, I thought, we can, maybe if you want to buy a lot of gold, you buy bars and you have some Goldbacks for spending. What's crazy to me is that in the last 6 years, Goldbacks have actually outperformed gold bullion,
Wow.
How is
and they've
that?
outperformed
Why is
every
that?
other form of fractional gold. So you can buy Goldbacks right now for about 92% over spot. When we started with Goldback, it was like in the high 70s. We underpriced it. There was no margin for distribution. We had to fix that. So we tweaked up the price to make it work. Um, so technically everybody that bought early won versus buying, say, like, ounces or bars, but then the premium stuck. So like 10th ounce gold coins, you'd buy them for like a 25, 30% premium. But this year with gold, there's been such a liquidity crisis and so much gold is getting melted down that you could buy 10th ounce coins for like a 10% premium. So if you bought Goldbacks versus 10th ounce gold coins, you retained your value better and were more liquid than if you bought any other form of fractional gold in the United States.
That's incredible. I mean, it must feel pretty good to have sort of figured out this thing that, in all sort of economic logic, not to say it doesn't make sense, but it's just so very impressive. So many economic, I don't know, instruments so rarely deliver in such a tangible and real way. Like it's not an ethereal, abstract way that it's delivering. It seems like 100% across the board with the Goldback. It's just, it's all upside. I've yet to find I've yet to
It's
find
it's it's
something
working really well, but it's not that there's not detractors to the Goldback. I mean, if you head on into social media and you crawl around, you're going to find people that really don't like Goldbacks. And
yeah.
a lot of it's astroturfed, right? Paid. Like it'll start out with like 15 people that are there to cause trouble, and they'll spread. Like, do you remember when Rand Paul ran for president?
Yeah, of course.
Um, there's kind of like this big campaign where it was like, oh, Rand Paul's not his dad. Rand
I
Paul's
didn't
not as
hear
good as
that one.
Ron Paul. Do you remember that?
I didn't hear that one, but I could totally see that
But it was
happening.
everywhere, and it
Yeah,
turns out later we learned that it was like a psyop,
that's so
and it was just like
interesting.
to sow division within the libertarian community from coalescing around Rand Paul.
Dude, these psyops are so powerful, man. Actually, fun. I actually got to sit down for an episode of this podcast with Rand Paul. was a very short 15-minute conversation I got to have with him. There were multiple men with guns in the room, so I was a little nervous. But yeah, it's a very special, a very special connection with Rand Paul. Back, oh man, that must have been almost 10 years ago now. But I had never heard the conspiracy theory that he was not his actual dad. I would have asked him about.
Well, no, and the thing was like, oh, the Apple. It was like they wanted to make him less worthy of support than Ron Paul.
Totally right.
That was the goal, and it kind of worked. It kind of split the movement a little bit, and they look for these wedge issues to split people with, because then it's like they don't have to do all the work. They can start the problem, and then other people will repeat it because ideas are like viruses.
Right.
So like one issue that we run into with Goldback is we have gold buyers in the United States for 4 decades. I've been taught that premiums are dangerous. They're a waste. You're throwing your money in the toilet or in the fire if you pay any kind of premium on gold. And there's a truth to that, because a lot of gold products, you buy them with a premium, and even like 10th ounce gold coins, that premium might be 30%. Well, this year it collapsed to 10. So there's some risk around premiums when you buy gold products. But if you look at the Goldback, we go down to 1,000th of an ounce.
Right.
And there's not really a lot of other comparable products. The bars that are that small, they sell for like double or they sell for like triple or quadruple the price of like the melt value of the gold.
That's so interesting. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Anybody who's talking about like premium or spot or something, you're never going to buy something just at the value of gold. I mean, there's
but you could if it's like a 1 ounce bar. But
at a certain volume.
Gold carries a different value when it's 1,000th of an ounce.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like people expect us to be able to make Goldbacks for the same price that someone could make a gold coin. Like, I'm sorry, I can't split an ounce of gold into 1,000 uncounterfeitable pieces for the same price as a 1 ounce bar, but they keep their value.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter, and they're liquid, and there's a tight spread. So like nobody's losing on this, but it's like some people just can't get their minds around it, and then we have other people that I am convinced now are astroturfing, and they are deliberately just trying to like sow confusion and doubt. Oh, Goldback's charging double for gold, and it's like burning half your money, and
yeah,
you should use dollars instead. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah,
what's the floor value on a dollar?
Stick with USD. Stick with
USD, man. That way you don't lose half your money. You can lose all of it.
Your dollar will always be worth $1. This is one of the most impressive sort of Babylonian magic tricks.
Your dollar will always be worth $1. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna, I don't know, give you the chance or ask if you had to steel man maybe the most legit criticism that you might get, but you may have already just done that. But if you were given the opportunity to give your detractors the benefit of the doubt, could you steel man one of their criticisms, convincingly?
Yeah, if the Goldback isn't completely riskless, right? I mean, if the whole thing failed and nobody wanted a Goldback and everybody abandoned it and everybody melted them down, it's like, yeah, I guess you could lose, 45% of your value or something like that.
Or if they became illegal or something.
Yeah, they became illegal. Well, if they became illegal, I think the value would actually go up. If I couldn't make them anymore, I think the value would go up. The ones and halves are subsidized. So nobody can ever make them this cheap without subsidizing them through like the higher bills. So they're like, if you think Goldback might run into a problem someday, you could buy those. I guess I don't want too many people to do that because it could break it. But
but that's just like any currency or any market of anything. The same thing could happen.
Yeah, no, it could. So I mean, it's not 100% riskless. We want to make it better all the time. We want to add value to it all the time. We've got lots of liquidity partners, and every time we add more businesses, it's like, okay, well, there's 3,000 places you can spend it for full value today.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, and really, that's how the dollar works. like if you can spend $1 anywhere in the country today for $1, great. The difference is that the Goldback value is going up and the dollar value is going down.
That right there is enough for me. I mean, good. I'm pretty sold at this point. I want to be respectful of everybody's time here, but I wanted to give you a chance. If there was anything, it could be about Goldbacks, it could be about anything in the world going on. I don't know, your special passion, your hobby you have going on. If there's something that you just wish somebody would ask you, or nobody's ever asked you about, or just something you wanted to get out into the world, is there anything like that you'd like to take the chance before we?
I get hundreds of emails a year, and people say something along the lines of, "I discovered Goldback, and these are really cool, and I just want to help somehow. Like, what can I do to make Goldback happen outside of just like maybe buying Goldbacks? Like, how do I support this?" And really, Goldback is a grassroots movement. It would never be successful if there weren't just tens of thousands of people like pushing it to being successful, right? Like I'm not big enough on my own to make it a success. So if you want to get involved with Goldback, there's a few different ways. We mentioned signing up your business on goldback.com. We'll give you a free graded silverback. If you're in a Goldback state, if you're in Florida, Arizona, or Oklahoma, we'll send you a graded, limited, early release Goldback as well. And those retail for a few $100. If you sign up, businesses in your community, if you live in some town like Vernal and you know people and you think, hey, if I can get my whole community on board with Goldbacks and you refer those businesses, we will give you a reward for every single business you refer, just to compensate you for that. And
That's
all
so
of them
cool.
will get the silverback too. If
That's
we have
amazing.
enough activity in your state, we'll do your state more likely than not. If you own a coin shop, you want to be a distributor for Goldbacks, you could do that. If you don't have any money and you don't know anybody and you're scared to talk to anybody and you would love to buy Goldbacks, but you don't have any money for Goldbacks, you don't really want to, and you're just like, I can't do any of those things. We do have a website where we have an offering called freegoldback.com. And all you have to do is give us your address and your email, and we will mail you a Goldback for free and a Goldback of your choice. I don't know if we have the Arizona in the drop down yet, probably because they're not out, but you could pick between Oklahoma or Florida, whichever one you want. We'll send that to your address. We'll send that to anyone's address. You do have to verify your email. So our distributor partner that does this, they want people to verify that they're real. So I think they had like send you an email and you have to click a link or something.
Yeah.
But we'll send you a free Goldback, no strings attached, unless you count being on our email list as a string.
And can they let us know, or can they let the distributor know how they heard about it?
Yes. So you go down to that. I think you can put down like podcast is one of the options in the drop down.
Radio, billboard. Oh,
yeah, podcast. Radio, podcast. Let them know.
Yeah. If they do other and do Canary Cry Radio, then we can get.
You could do Canary Cry Radio. I'll let you guys know how many people. Because usually what happens is, the day that this releases, depending on your audience size, like we'll see a big jump and we can extrapolate like, okay, normally we get 100 or 200 a day.
Yeah.
For free Goldback. Today we got 1,000. So 800 was probably you.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, so number one, just to back up something that you mentioned, for people to go around their community, talk to those businesses, talk to the business owners, tell them about Goldbacks, direct them to the website, direct them to this episode, let them listen to this episode so they can learn all about it, they can understand exactly what's going on. We talk about getting involved locally. We talked to Patrick Holland about getting involved in local politics at the lowest level you possibly can, that's how you can really change your world, your little world, as much as possible. This is, forget all that big stuff. They want to distract you, they want to keep you all riled up. You can affect your world around you better than anything else And, if maybe getting into local politics isn't your thing, go to your businesses, go to your friends who are business owners, go to your, shops down the street. Tell them about Goldbacks, get them to sign up, take them to the website right here, become a merchant and sign them up. Not only are you going to get, rewarded for your work there, but you're also going to be creating that parallel economy right around you. Imagine you just go to your favorite shops, go to your favorite stores, your favorite businesses, your friends' businesses. You could literally build the Goldback, parallel economy in your area. It's so easy. All you got to do is just do it. Not only will you get, the Goldbacks as rewards, or the silverbacks, whatever the reward is, but you also build that network around you in your community. And then, of course, if you're on the Canary Cry supply drop, you got a Goldback coming to you this next quarter. So you can take that Goldback, go get yourself something at one of your favorite stores. And then on top of that, go to freegoldback.com. Well, this looks like a half Goldback you'll get there. Let them know that we sent you. We don't necessarily get rewarded for that, but it's helpful for us to know if our, people are. This is not a sponsorship situation. We're just passionate about getting people involved. But there you go. So lots of good ways. I mean, this is something that you can directly involve yourself, your family, your friends, your community into this movement that's already incredible. I mean, you saw the map, folks. I showed you the map. The map just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Um, if you're looking, we're always wondering. We all see what's coming down the pike. We all think about it, listen about it, read about it, see it coming. And everybody's always asking us, what can we do? What can we do? How do we do? How do we adapt? How do we change things? This is one incredibly easy, A, and effective, B, way to actively participate in this alternative future. Not sort of green, whatever, build back better alternative future. This is gold back future, sound money. You're probably in a state that is already on board with this, if you're in one of the 50 states in the United States. And Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. I can't wait to hear the stories about Canarians getting involved, getting their gold backs, and learning more.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate you having me here, and this has been a lot of fun. Um, yeah, maybe we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, I hope so.
Awesome.
You're welcome anytime. Anytime there's an update, anytime there's a new bill, anytime there's a new
Well,
legislation,
a lot of these new
whatever.
bills, I know we're wrapping up now. Like you'd think that a lot of these precious metal bills coming out now are really good, but a lot of them are actually awful.
You're talking about
Um,
legislation.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the legislation that they almost passed in Texas, or the legislation that's coming out in Ohio right now.
Tell
Um,
us why. Why are they bad? Because of
be,
course, without looking into it, you'd assume it's a good
well,
thing.
yeah, it says gold and silver on it, and you assume it's great. Hey, this is a gold silver bill. The Republicans passing it. It's got to be amazing. But what it really is you have individual companies that are rent seeking. They're trying to get the government to do business with only them, and it's a
Mm,
backdoor for government control over your finances through gold.
classic. That is classic. I mean, that's something we should definitely know more about. Are there any in particular that you'd say, any states that we should look out for? Any
Oh no,
resources?
there's a terrible bill right now in Ohio. There's an even worse one in Michigan. Um, Missouri passed a great bill. In fact, the next person you should have on should be Kim Coleman. She's our director of strategic relationships, but she's in all these bills, and she could probably talk to you about just the bills going on for like an hour.
Would love to do that. If you want to connect us, we'd love to have her on because this is something we're very interested in. Yeah. Yeah. So watch out, folks. I mean, in a way, I have a habit of trying to find the silver lining in things like this. It's just a disease I have. But in a way, you see these states, these bad bills, these bad gold bills, there, there's a positive aspect to it, which is the fact that they even have the incentive to get in and corrupt a gold or precious metal bill shows that they know that there's the political will and there's the, the desire of the citizens of any area to pass something like that, or else it wouldn't be worth their time to get worm their way in there, and it wouldn't be such a sure thing. So on one hand, I can see the uh, at least a good signal that these bills exist, and that they're important or surefire enough that the corrupting forces of our beast system would like to worm their way in and deceive everybody in the process. So, but we will keep an eye out for those sorts of things. And like any topic, like any financially related movements, there's always going to be this sort of dark side of establishments. I don't know, this is a worminess getting themselves in there.
It's something, the price of liberty is constant vigilance.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really it. Like, on its face, these bills look great. A lot of the lawmakers co-sponsoring the bills have no idea how bad they are. They didn't read them. You don't want to embarrass them. You want to, like, hey, this is kind of like, basically, it's very like CBDC flavored, where there's one provider for the government that gets the contract. Everybody else is locked out. Some of the same bills shut down physical gold, so you can only buy it digitally through the state at a price that they set, and it's kind of this weird backdoor thing.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, stay vigilant, people. That's what you got to do. Jeremy, thank you so much coming on to the show. And folks, make sure to go to goldback.com, learn more, get involved. Of course, get on the Canary Cry supply drop. Jeremy, thank you so much for your time today, buddy.
And thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks again very much to our good friend Jeremy over at goldback.com. And go check out goldback.com, folks. This is not a sponsorship. We've been on this. I mean, heck, you look past the past handful of Canary Cry Radio episodes, talking to Patrick Holland and others, gold, silver bugs. We've got a lot of interest. We are on the precipice, folks, of whatever the new economic system is. And look, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to make you take a course or to do whatever. You already know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, okay? Whether it's crypto, whether it's gold or gold's instruments like this, it's going to be entirely different, and it's going to happen extremely soon, okay? So this is not a call for everybody to, sell your house and collect a bunch of gold or Bitcoin, although a lot of people have done that, and a lot of people have done pretty good doing that. But look, I'm not telling you to jump both feet in like that, but we both know, all of us know, that whatever is coming next is going to look entirely different. And you, dear listener, having the opportunity to get the perspective from Jeremy at Goldback and us and other alternative economic beast system sort of possibilities in the future, you have the knowledge, okay? So whatever that means to you, and it even goes to the local activation, okay? It's one thing for all of us to stock up on gold and get some Goldbacks and get some crypto and stuff like that, but we're moving into this new phase of the economy that is going to have several different instruments at the same time, and we can sit back and we can let the big wigs decide it all, and we're all going to be using the central bank digital currency, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. Or we can all go out right now, we can all talk to the small businesses of the people that we know, we can talk to people in our towns and our neighborhoods, we can start collectively in each of our locales here. We can start moving everybody forward along with us, take a little bit of the power out of the hands of the bigwigs and put it right into the hand of each and every one of us. So go to goldback.com, go to freegoldback.com, get your friends, family, small businesses on board. This is one way
that people are going to be able to hold on to a little bit of power, a little bit of agency, a little bit of autonomy. It's either that or you just let the CBDCs sweep you away into whatever soma-filled dystopian nightmare they want to. Now, along with that, of course, because we are value for value here, folks. You know this. We don't take any money from corporations, commies, cartels. We don't take any advertisement sponsorships, platform partnerships, none of that. Okay, you know this. The only way that we exist and continue to exist is when people say, hey, that actually brought some value to my life. Hey, I expect I will get some value into the future. I'm going to put some value back in to Canary Cry Radio with my time, my talent, my treasure. Anyway, whatever it is that the Lord has given you to put towards whatever he's doing in this world, that is what we accept. You go to canarycry.support to see the options there. If you have time, if you have skills, if you have an idea for the Canary Cry community to reach more people or foster closer connections or some sort of, I don't know, techno jargon, something or other that we don't even know about, get in contact with us. Send us an email to canarycryradio@gmail.com and just let us know that you want to get involved with whatever's we got going on the back end here. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, whatever it is you do, whatever form your creativity takes in this world, you can do it for us. Almost every sound effect, almost every graphic, almost every thing that is included in a Canary Cry Radio, Canary Cry News Talk broadcast is created by a producer just like you for us in exchange for the value we create. And last but not least, if time and talent isn't your thing, you can support us with your treasure. And yeah, that could take any forms. I mean, you go to canarycry.support, you see the PayPal link, you've got credit debit card options there. There's also cryptocurrency options. And yes, there is a P.O. box. If anybody wanted to send some Goldbacks to the P.O. box, you can find that at canarycry.support all the way down at the bottom. Or pennies. It was just this last Wednesday, the poor penny was minted for the last time in Philadelphia. If you caught our Canary Cry News Talk episode, you got all our thoughts about that. But that, getting rid of the penny, as we have said for literal years, folks, is the first step towards cashless society. They start with the penny. They make it a social justice issue or whatever they said, for whatever reason they needed to get rid of. And of course, this was Mr. Trump, got rid of the penny. The penny is freedom, folks, and the penny is gone. The nickels are next, then they're coming for the dollars, which is another good reason to get your hand on some Goldback. I don't know. Like I said, this is not a sponsored episode, but I will say, as we mentioned in the episode, we're extremely grateful to Goldback to have made some half Goldback bills available for us to send out to our Canary Cry supply droppers, okay? So if you are a Canary Cry supply dropper, this is the bet. The fourth quarter is always the best quarter to be getting your Canary Cry supply drop package directly to your door. If you don't know, go to canarycrysupply.drop.com, canarycrysupply.drop.com, and check it out. This is one way that people who really understand what's going on with the value for value model, they get value out of what we do here, and they want to make sure that the show can keep going. And at the same time, they like to receive free gift from us. Go to canarycrysupply.drop.com, support the show for $33.33 a month, and then every quarter, our producers are busy little bees putting together packages of custom exclusive Canary Cry gear. Sometimes it's apparel, sometimes it's accessories, sometimes it's survival gear, sometimes there's GMO-free seeds. And of course, in fourth quarter, there's going to be the Canary Cry calendar, which is a beloved treasure by all Canary Cry enthusiasts, which will be the 2026 Canary Cry calendar, chock-a-block full of art from your favorite Canary Cry artists, as well as, goodness gracious, like hundreds of dates on this calendar. You want to know all the history about the Freemasons, the Illuminati. You want to know about all the history, the anniversaries of things like the Bank of England, the CIA, the NSA, big moments in history that we all have spent our time learning about over the past many years. Then the Canary Cry calendar is for you. And not only that, it's also got the biblical feasts, lots of very important dates in there in Christendom, as well as Canary Cry dates, inside jokes, Canary Cry history, all over this Canary Cry calendar. Go get it. You're going to love it. CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. And, of course, you'll be receiving a half Goldback in your supply drop in December. It's very exciting. But you got to sign up soon. I did get a note from the supply drop producers, and they did say, unfortunately for our international supply droppers, it's getting harder and harder to get stuff overseas here. And because Goldback is technically precious metals, literal precious metals, we are not going to be able to ship the Goldback overseas. However, you're in contact with Sir Ike. We will be figuring something out because we want to make sure that we appreciate you. But for those who are not an ocean away from us, go to CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Start your Goldback journey. Start your journey as a Canary Cry supply dropper. Now is the time, folks. The time is now. There is a cutoff. The cutoff for the supply drop for the fourth quarter is the end of November. I don't know what it is. Is it the 30th? Is it the 31st? Let me look here. It's the 30th, okay? You got to sign up at CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com before November 30th in order to get your Goldback, your half Goldback, your Canary Cry calendar, and everything else cool we got coming out in this supply drop this quarter. So there you go, folks. Go out there, make a difference, change your community, change yourself, change your family, change your friends. We got to change our mindsets, and that is what ultimately is going to give us some sort of resilience as we move into the big mysterious world. And here's the thing: if you're not buying it yet, if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, nothing will ever change, I can't help you. This is your moment. We might be months away from some very serious economic changes in how not just this country, but the world does money. And so, you know it, I know it. Go get started. Go get on the supply drop. Get your free half Goldback. Go to goldback.com. Use the Goldback calculator. You can, I'm doing it right now. I can click a button and do a USD to Goldback calculator. I can start taking Goldbacks right now if I wanted to. Maybe I will. Maybe I shall. And there's also a real fun competition, as you heard from Jeremy during the episode. They're looking for more states to do the next Goldbacks. Doing the next Goldback designs based on your states. Missouri, I have a hard time thinking that anybody is going to get it before Missouri does. We got a lot of extremely active, extremely cool Missouri Canarians who I'm sure will jump into action and make sure that the Missouri Goldback is the next one to come out. But Texas, you're over there. Boys and girls in Texas, you do outnumber the Missourians. I know you do, but you guys are so far away. Texas is so big. It's hard to get together and make things happen. I get it. I cannot wait to see what Goldback does next. I hope you guys feel the same way. So goldback.com, CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com, CanaryCry.support. Those are the places to make sure that we can all stay together and move through this tumultuous time in ways that are pleasing to God. Isn't that ultimately what we should be shooting for? Okay, everybody. That's it. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry Radio. We hope you tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.